Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is Cobra Kai, the review discussion. We're going to break it down. I already did a review of this. You guys know what I thought. And I think generally most people that have watched Cobra Kai so far have enjoyed it. I think it's a good series. Just what I think. You can go back and watch the review that I did drunk alone at like 1 o'clock in the morning a couple of weeks ago, talking about my love for Cobra Kai. But as usual with stuff, sometimes when people really like something, they really build it up. Sometimes we get Joe in here to throw cold water on everything. So I've been wondering, I haven't really talked to Joe much about this, but I've been wondering, as I'm sure some of you guys might be, what did Joe think? What did Joe think about Cobra Kai? So we're going to get into that tonight, but we're not alone. Joining us along the way will be the live motherfucking chat. And if you're watching this at any other point in time in the future, please share your thoughts of Cobra Kai, what you'd like to see in Season 2, what worked for you, what didn't work for you in Season 1. But let's not waste any more time. Joe, how are you? It's been a while. It's good to have you back on the podcast. What are your thoughts on Cobra Kai?
Well, I don't think YouTube's working.
It isn't?
Nope.
Oh no,
it's not playing anyway.
I think we are live now. We have the live chats there. Tom says YouTube. It says it's gonna happen in 30 minutes. Joe, you better like this motherfucker. We got the chat's the chat is going. They want to know, Joe. They want to get in your ass. They want to know, what did Joe think? And let's find out. Joe, did you like this show, or was it just another pile of shit that people are overblowing? That there's too much hype. What did you think? Are you squashing everyone's dreams? Do you and me have to get into the biggest fight we've ever gotten into on our podcast here? What are your thoughts on Cobra Kai?
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get why anybody would think that this was at all not one of the top shows on television or streaming media ever. Like, it's hilarious. It's nostalgic for people. It's also like, topical for the youth because, how foolish all us old people really are trying to put on headbands and weird shit, like,
pretending we're the Karate Kid.
This show is fucking awesome. It really was.
Yeah, we can't play. We're gonna try to play that Joe hated this for a while, but I don't think we could really do it because I think Joe generally feels the same way I do. This was a fucking awesome watch, wasn't it, Joe?
It was. I've watched the series almost 2 full times straight through, so I get a kick out of it. The jokes keep making me laugh. His reactions to a lot of shit just keeps making me laugh. Like,
yeah, dude, I've watched it 3 times now, and every time I find something else that I enjoy.
Put the TV up on the wall across from the door. It is across from the fucking door, lady. Like,
and what's amazing about the series is it throws all those conflicts with the bully person all over the place. It's not a simple thing because Miguel at the end becomes, I guess, the de facto bad guy, but he's not really a bad kid. He's never really a bad kid. He just makes some stupid mistakes. He gets drunk, but what guy wouldn't get upset if he's shit-faced drunk? He's trying to text his girlfriend all day, doesn't call him back.
His first girlfriend, he doesn't know how to handle relationships.
And she shows up with a guy. Yeah, and she shows up with some cute guy in arm, and be like, "What the fuck? You got a little drunk." And after hearing the story that Johnny told him, but I agree, Joe. I think this was just an amazing watch. We're gonna break down a couple things tonight.
It just kept throwing like you think you know exactly how it's going, and they throw curveballs, but even the curveballs aren't what you expect. They end up being breaking balls or some shit. Like watch out, the little twists end up being really fun to watch happen. Like how you don't really expect Miguel to end up being like a big asshole on the mat also, but he does. He's and like Hawk, he becomes a little fucking asshole too, right?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing the way it goes. Oh, we have the live motherfucking chat with us right now. He said, Kai Green, yeah, son, here you go. Joe, you better like this motherfucker. Motherfucking chat, baby. Yes, Joe. Damn it, Joe, you cock teased us there. Exactly, Joe, it sucks. Everything sucks. Wow, Joe likes it. He really likes it. You watched it 3 times. Is it really that good? Johnny's playing the victim. Work permit. He's just, work permit. He's just my eagle. You don't want to get that.
He's just my illegal. I picked him up at Home Depot.
You don't want to get that we don't want to do that scabies outbreak from
that's not, I don't need to hear anything about that. Yeah. Just get your shit straightened out.
There were just so many little subtle points that were so funny, and I love Johnny's whole thing and his interaction with Daniel. We lead up to that big, huge point towards the end of the season where Johnny says his side of everything and how he can look at things from his perspective and what happened with Daniel. And we've heard that before, especially if you've watched How I Met Your Mother or you've seen a couple of skits or heard any interviews with William Zabka, who said he played Johnny this way. But to hear him actually verbalize it at the end, this kid shows up from out of town, starts hitting on my girlfriend. I pushed him once. He sucker punched me, and then I didn't see him for weeks. And then he shows up and throws water on me.
Ruins my Halloween costume and my weed.
And then my friend Tommy gets brain damage because he gets kicked by Mr. Miyagi.
I'm surprised you didn't say. And then he caused a 5-car pileup running through the streets.
It's fucking crazy. But I love how I just love seeing things from Johnny's perspective. And in those first, I'd say,
and it's true. It's true. It's all true. He even says, he goes, oh yeah. He goes, you kicked me in the face. He goes, yeah. Well, what about that shot to my knee? I got a warning, and you got the fucking win. What?
Miguel for life. He became a G-man. I get you. The girls still feel him. It was the Karate Kid meets the Bad News Bears. And I think what's important about what Paul Q just said there, it's the Bad News Bears, is I think just like that. And I don't know how you felt about this, Joe. I think the selling point of this series is I think you knew the Johnny and the Daniel stuff was going to work, but they also cast some really good kids that there's not one of them that I was like, this kid kind of sucks. I think each one of them, the girl, Johnny's kid, Johnny's son, Johnny's two sons, fucking idiot friends, Beavis and Butthead there were really good in their little small part. Daniel's son's daughter, Daniel's kid is an annoying little twat, and you just want to beat the shit out of him, and he's fucking perfect. And I think Daniel's wife was really good in her section of the episode as well, and what she had to do. And so, but I think all the new characters really added a lot to the cast as well, which could have been a big miss if they were all just really annoying or it was all Fuller House on that ass. But what do you think of the newer characters?
What I think of what?
The newer characters like Miguel and Daniel's daughter.
I loved them. Like, here's the thing: the older characters, you're not going to be able to do much with, Daniel's mom and like any of the older characters. The only people anybody really cares about is Daniel and Johnny,
and maybe Elizabeth Shue if they could get her.
Right. Well, if they could get her, but everybody else that's on the show, it's really important that they made them likable, relatable characters, and I think they did a good job doing that. Because even though it's the Bad News Bears, I mean, the majority of people aren't like the best athlete on the team, but most people want to play sport, or don't, because they know they're not going to be the best person and they don't want to be embarrassed and shit like that. So
we did talk about one thing.
It's relatable.
We did talk about one thing. You kind of had a feeling before the series ever aired that you thought it was going to be a really good.
I knew. Yeah, I knew right away. As soon as I heard like Cobra Kai, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be fucking phenomenal."
See, I had my doubts.
Absolutely fucking great.
See, I had my doubts. Not my doubts, but I must admit I was blindsided by how good it was. Like I expected it to be kind of funny, but maybe grow old by the end. But it's actually keeps getting better as it goes, and I'm surprised how much of the emotion it keeps from the original Karate Kid too. It doesn't pull any punches. It has balls. It's not PC in any way, shape, or form, but it still has the same schmaltziness with the Karate Kid. They hit some of those same points, like with the montage, with the wax on, wax off, with the balance stuff, with Daniel remembering Mr. Miyagi and getting you all emotional and stuff. They really get all those points. Sorry, Joe. I wanted you to be Johnny. The spacing just didn't work. It didn't. I needed to be dead. I needed to be Daniel's son. It's just how it worked. What's good? We got Analysis of Thrones, Kai Green. And as I mentioned, if anyone wants to get in the discussion, we have a call-in line that may or may not be working right now. It's 657-383-1435. Also have a voicemail line for 781-990-8509. If you want to get in the discussion and leave a voicemail about your thoughts on Cobra Kai.
One of the good things about this show too is what they really needed to do is they needed to get away from, okay, the first movie and the second movie, for whatever it's worth, and whatever the rest of the movies are, they have the good guy, which was Daniel-san, and the bad guy, which was Johnny. And even more so,
Chosen.
as much as you look at it now and you look at the points that are made in this, and if you had seen How I Met Your Mother or some other internet videos that are up there, or listened to me rant about it, you might have already seen it with a better eye the first time around. But and realize that the conflict really lies further beyond Johnny and Danny and into their senseis as well. But with this, it keeps that aspect, that it's not just about the kids, it's about the senseis. But they don't make one sensei an asshole and one sensei a good guy. They make them both fucking dicks and both very likable.
Yeah.
Like Danny's a fucking tool. He's a pompous fucking tool ass.
Joe, especially in the first 4 episodes, up until Daniel gets into the head, puts on the headband,
he cleans out the room.
Right. To that point, then it's then it's almost balanced co-protagonist from the beginning with the two of them till the end. Up until that point, in those first 4 episodes, Daniel is straight up villain of the series. They make him, he does that evil shit. But I know what you're saying. They show the warts on both sides. That's why I would say, and people can yell at me all you want and say, oh, you're hyperbolic. I'd say Cobra Kai as a series, or if you look at it as a 5-hour movie, is better than any of the originals. Because the originals,
the characters have much more depth. Yep. They're not dicks. They're not great guys. They're people. They have their flaws and they have their pros, I guess.
Yeah. No.
Their strengths. But they're both very likable, and you can find yourself rooting for both of them throughout the whole series, even though Danny does come off like a pompous tool.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't come off like an evil guy in the first 4
No,
episodes.
and in fairness, I don't know how much you remember the third movie. He comes off in the first 2 movies as well, but specifically in the third movie, he comes off like incredible pompous fucking dick jackhole. I mean, through that whole third movie, he's a giant jackhole. And I like how they don't abandon the third movie. They may not really pay much attention to the next Karate Kid because there's no reason. I wonder if Hilary Swank will show up. But there's no reason to mention that movie because it's a Miyagi-centric with Hilary Swank movie, and he's dead in this universe right now. So they do definitely focus on the third movie, which, even though it's not my favorite Karate Kid movie, I appreciate that. And the more you watch it, the more you see how they do take a lot from that movie, because you get a lot of the foundation of Cobra Kai. You see that when Terry Silver was training Daniel-san in certain some of the tactics he was using there is what Johnny's using with Miguel, but Johnny's also changing it a little bit, whether adding a little bit more just not quite as vicious. That's where you punch the guy in the trachea, but that's only for extreme circumstances, where Terry's like, punch him there always, Daniel-san, because he's trying to break Daniel in that way. So you get connection that. You get Mr. Miyagi's little tree reference in there. You get the whole thing with the bonsai trees and his wife ragging on his business. You get the kata, which is a huge part of the third movie, and Daniel learning that, and a lot of aspects. You get Mike Barnes reference, Karate's bad boy, and Terry Silver reference in the episode where
there's so many references and Easter eggs hidden everywhere in this. It's ridiculous. So if you are a fan of those movies, if you remember those movies or watch them beforehand, and then you go to watch this, you're gonna see it all. It's amazing. I know I didn't catch nearly as much as you probably did, but I caught quite a fucking bit.
I think we both
even
did.
Like down to the Miyagi's tombstone. The day and year were wrong, but the months were correct for birth and death.
Interesting.
I don't know if anybody. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else
I did not
caught
pick
that.
up.
But.
Yeah, I love that, Biggie. No more asthma. No made up things like asthma and peanut allergies. A guy says Miyagi hologram. I love the use of the flashbacks, and when he hears Miyagi's voice, it definitely got me emotional in that, man. That's a badass name for a dojo. Yeah, that little snake. The
Oh,
Cobra K.
that's a nice
Yeah,
rattlesnake.
yeah. It's a cobra, Dick. Cobra K. Oh,
Cobra
really?
K.
Yeah. Okay, we got a call. Area code 709. Caller 709. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what is your question or comment about Cobra Kai? Thank you so much for calling in. If anyone else wants to call in, our number is on the screen, but you can do it at 657-383-1435. Again, that's 657-383-1435, or you can leave a voicemail or a text at 781-990-8509, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So area code 709, who are you, where are you calling from, and what are your thoughts on Cobra Kai?
Hi guys, it's French Canadian Jason. Bonjour, ça va?
Oui. What's up, French Canadian Jason? How's it going, buddy?
It's good, man. It's good. I'm calling from Canada, but I can't keep the accent up that long for my comments, so I'm gonna give you my real voice here. Love Cobra Kai. I'm from the generation that the original Karate Kid came out. I don't know how many karate schools opened up after the original movie came out, but this is one of the greatest shows I think they've rebooted or continue. I don't want to say rebooted. So they've continued to tell the story. Me and my wife watched every episode. It was one of those shows where you just wanted more and more, and it was freaking great television, and it was real life. Like the fact that they showed the other side of Johnny. I mean, not every bad guy in the movie is a complete fucking bad guy. Do you know anybody in life that everybody fucking hates and nobody likes? You know, there's always a side. There's always a different twist to a character that we don't always get to see. And I think they've done a great job of exploring that. Same way with Daniel being a dick. I just love it. I think it's fucking great. Great storytelling. You guys hit all the nails on the head. I mean, I'm not going to repeat everything you said. I agree 100% with everything you were doing. The end of the season, I thought it was a great setup for season 2. Now we're going to see more of a conflict, I believe, with Johnny. You know, Joe told me privately he has this theory about two of them coming together for the same dojo. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think Daniel's going to help Johnny on his quest, I guess, to stand up to his own bully himself, and I think they'll come together that way. But great TV, man. I mean, our generation now, it seems that we're seeing more reboots, we're seeing more sitcom comedy coming back, we're seeing more TV coming back from our generation as a kid, and I don't know if that's because our generation is in the business now and writing this stuff, but it's great. I can't wait for season 2, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think season 2 is going to go, and what do you think that'll be like.
Awesome call, French Canadian Jason. Thank you, buddy.
I think it's going to be Miyagi Kai. I think we're going to get Johnny and because if you remember, man, he even says it in the episode. Yeah, only Miyagi didn't break your trophy and try to fucking kill you. And then the guy walks into the studio at the end, right?
Yeah, John Kreese walks in at the end. So you think in season 2 it's ultimately going to end up with Daniel and Johnny doing the dojo
Kreese is
together?
Going to try to get his.
I also think Terry Silver is going to come in, and I think that maybe Johnny will get. They'll try to strong arm Johnny into doing Cobra Kai their way again, because he's gotten some public shine on Cobra Kai, and he's going to refuse, and they're going to try to sue him for the name or something like that, and ultimately Johnny's going to tell him to go fuck themselves. And I do think it's going to end. At some point we're going to get a fight where it's Johnny and Daniel-san versus Terry Silver, Mike Barnes, and Sensei
he's going to go to Daniel-san, who's got the money, who's got lawyer connections. They're going to form together to make Miyagi Kai.
After some serious bullshit between the two of them, where they,
of course, and because you're also going to have the reconciliation of the father-son and of hopefully Miguel and Danielson's daughter. I hope we don't get like the Capulets and the Romulans or whatever the fuck they were.
The Capulets and the Romulans, the Cardassians and the Romulans.
Yeah. I hope we don't get I don't want to see them two hook up. So we
don't want to see any Bajoran and Cardassian love.
She's laughing at my What are they? Yeah,
The
what are they?
Romulans, yeah, the Remans is what the fuck.
Remans?
The
What are
Remans.
they?
No, the
No,
Montagues.
it's Romulus and Remus. I know them.
Yeah,
They're Rome.
Montagues.
Montagues. Okay.
Okay, so I like
That wasn't even close.
Hey, Romulans works too. Romulans works too. Okay, so I want to bring up something that. So Joe, so you think in season 2 we're gonna see the Romulans fight the Remans in a
Katie's
Montague?
about to die. Hold on, she's choking on something. Not the right something either.
Oh my goodness.
Are you okay? Do you need a hiney lick? No. Okay. So I'll come over there. I'm a professional hiney licker.
Now, Joe, to your point earlier, our good buddy
Certified.
our good buddy Ian sent us both a link on Twitter about Cobra Kai YouTube Red Karate Kid sequel outperforms Netflix and Hulu shows. Let me read this article. This is in Variety if you want to hear it. So
Yeah, I read this.
Yeah, does YouTube Red have its first hit series? Cobra Kai, a TV off-street of Karate Kid's film franchise, has outperformed all of its streaming competition according to data provided by Variety by Patriot Analytics on the week of May 6th to May 12th. 13 Reasons Why, Arrested Development, as well as Hulu's Handmaid's Tale. It marks the first time Patriot's global data has seen YouTube Red show top blah, 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 blah. Okay, so ultimately, do you think it matters where this show is airing? They said that they shopped it around.
No.
A lot of stations had a lot of offers from.
No, wherever it was going to be a big fucking hit. It would have had the same numbers. The only difference is YouTube, I think, has more access to more people to get out 2 free episodes.
Yeah.
Sign up for the rest for a month. So you get the whole package for free. And if Netflix had put it out, they have their customers, and they're not going to get a whole bunch of people to sign up for more. So they might get enough people to watch it, but they're not going to get like all these added. So this is a big boost for YouTube of people who are going to forget to cancel their subscriptions.
That's my question for you here, and that's kind of what I'm leading at. How many of those people are going to continue with their subscription? This is
not me. There's absolutely nothing else on YouTube that I want to watch for money.
And I know this isn't about whether this is a good series or not. Similar thing happened, but not as effectively. CBS All Access tried with Star Trek Discovery. Get the first couple of months free. Here's the first episode. We're going to give it to you, and then you can sign up for a free month. And I think what they bank on, this is such a, and I don't want to attack it because I don't want to cloud an awesome series with this shit, but it's a shady tactic because most people, you're right, forget to cancel, and then you sign up for that free month for bullshit. And you're like, I'm canceling this. But do you think this is going to force any full-time subscriptions to YouTube Red, or it's just going to be people are going to sign up for this when Cobra Kai season 2 comes out again?
Well, here's the thing. If they are successful, and what they're also doing is when you signed up for the YouTube Red subscription, you got YouTube Music. And if that catalog is big enough, it might people might say, well, what the fuck do I need Spotify for if I can do this YouTube shit for the same price and get to YouTube? Right? Or they might say, I don't need Google Play Music if I can get the YouTube Music and the YouTube video for the same price. So that might help a lot of people, but it's not. It's certain. It's
they
certainly
need another one.
Going to fool a lot more.
They need another one. They need to follow up this series with another.
That's what they fucked up. That's where they fucked up. See, what I noticed Amazon did over the last couple of years is they put out like a pilot episode for 3 or 4 shows, right?
Skinny Pete.
One was The Tick, one was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and one was something else.
I think it was Skinny Pete.
And what's that?
I think it was Skinny Pete.
Yeah, and they said, okay, now vote and see which ones you like, and tell us, and we'll make that show. But what I think YouTube really should have done was have a couple of shows to drop all at once. Like, I know it's expensive. I know it's something like that. But if you had this hit show and maybe 1 or 2 others that you could, drop season 1 of all at once and take that gamble, maybe you lose on 2, but at least you're going to reach a far wider audience with your selection a comedy, an action thing, a romantic thing, and you have that much more content that people can look forward to and binge on in that month and be more in depth into it and forget to cancel their subscription.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they fucked up. They needed more than just this one series.
Do you think it hurt? Do you think Cobra Kai is awesome? And we're going to talk a little bit more about the series itself. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this because Ian sent me this and it's interesting. Have you had any problems in suggesting this series for people to check out because it's on YouTube Red? Do you think more people would be watching?
I don't tell them Red. I just tell them YouTube, and then they'll get the first 2 episodes, and from there, YouTube will let them in on the fact that they need to go.
YouTube will be their drug dealer.
To by then.
Yeah, YouTube will be their drug dealer. And
yeah. I'll give them the first thing for free. I'll tell them where to get it for free, but YouTube will hook them.
Yeah, YouTube, yeah, exactly.
YouTube has to get them. And there's another thing too. Like maybe this is one of the times that that YouTube may be able to see the light and change the formula from the way that TV has been done for so long, in that you have a 10 episode or a 20 something episode series and you have a season, and then next year you have the same thing. So you have these great shows that only run for 10 weeks. That's 3 months, and you have people waiting for like 9 months to get their fix again, right? So what I've always been a proponent of is with these 10 episode runs where you drop them all at once, why aren't you having season 2 6 months later? Like that's where The Walking Dead kind of has these mid-season finale things kind of right. It stretches their show out for the whole year, doesn't give people enough time to forget before they come back. And with these binge shows, they really should be fucking doing that.
So you're hoping we get like January or February season 2. They said 2019. There's no date on it yet, but you're hoping they do January, February or something for these episodes. Get them out sooner rather than later. Why does it have to be every year?
Why does it have to? It doesn't take a year to make these 10 episodes. Very often you're on episode, on a 22 episode season, you're on episode 10 and they're finishing up filming fucking episode 20. So like if they ordered 20 episodes for a season and just fucking cut them and put your next I don't know. I think that we get shortchanged for material, and it hurts the show because people have to wait for so long. After a year or two, they lose interest. They might wait for that first year, but second year, third year for some of these binges, the numbers go down significantly.
Yeah. So let's get in the live chat. No clue what you guys are talking about. Just showing some love for the Celtics. Go Celtics, up 7 at the end of the third quarter right now. I canceled after watching the whole season, says Big E.
Yeah, exactly. What else is there for it?
Trigger. Triggerman said I canceled Apple Music for Google Play /Red. Mike says if your YouTube Red the stuff makes more money, doesn't help you. Yeah, but I'm not gonna pub a product that doesn't have good stuff. I'll pub Cobra Kai till it explodes, but it definitely needs more shows. There's literally nothing else to watch on it. Peter Griffin, Lip couldn't get into no girls. Golden Girls 2. Yeah, they should have done a Golden Girls 2 right there. Like Amazon Prime. Sadly, I'm selfish. $40 Fire TV. Felicia said the nerve heard of this show till. I've never heard of the show till Phil said he was doing a review of it. Mike says, Tales from the Crypt starring Hillary Clinton as a Crypt Keeper. Peter says, has Phil done his Mike Pence Handmaid's Tale? Paul Q, none of these actors have jobs. Paul Q, been out of work for 20 years. Hack World.
But they all did such a great job, especially with these characters in this reissue, reboot. Again, continuation. I don't know. Jimmy got caught up on that too. I don't know what you call it.
It's
like next episode in the saga.
Yeah, sequel more than
continuing saga.
Continuing saga of the Karate Kid universe. Who knew it was a universe like that? So, what are the worst things that you think could happen in season 2? What does the show have to make sure it doesn't do in the season 2? For me, it's take away some of the edge. I think it needs to somehow maintain the edge that keeps it interesting and keeps it a little different than the norm and not get too cheesy and predictable, I guess.
I want to see, so, there's a lot of talk about bullies and shit, and I want to see how, I can't wait to see how Johnny deals with his bully, his sensei.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did such a good job writing this season with the little twists and the little turns and how it all, played out, that I don't really want to think of what they could do that would be bad,
Okay.
because
Let me
it might start happening and they might do something with it that ends up being really good.
let me frame it a little bit different. What works about the nostalgia in this that doesn't in other things for you? Is it because it's set in 2018 essentially, and the nostalgia is more the older characters, like 50-year-old people reminiscing about their past, rather than something like where we're in the 80s dealing with this again, or seeing that stuff over and again?
There's that big time jump. There's this 25, 30-year time jump there, right? That we don't know anything about their lives. We see Johnny had himself a wife or a girlfriend that he had a kid with. What's his name? A dealership, 2 kids, wife. Elizabeth Shue's out of the picture. He kind of stalks her on Facebook a little, we don't know so much about what happened to their lives in this whole time. Like Johnny's a fucking alcoholic living in a fucking a converted fucking motor inn with piss in the fountain.
He might as well be living in a van down by the river. He's
down by the fucking river.
Yeah. Right? He might as well be living. And
it's great. So I think that's one of the big things that works. So it's not just nostalgia for us. It's these two have gone on with their lives and they've lived it, and now they find themselves back in it, really kind of thinking about it all again. Danny never stepped away from it. Like, we kicked the competition, having fucking bonsai trees. He taught his daughter how to throw kicks and shit, like not just throw kicks, but like how to defend herself and kick some ass. Like, so he never stepped away from it. He's been living that, since high school. He's been riding that peak. You know what I mean? Trimming that bonsai tree, envisioning his future and making it happen. Whereas Johnny just, that his whole world fell apart. Not only, like, you could see on his face during that last fight, he didn't want to go after the knee. He thought there was something wrong with that, right? You could see it on his face, but he did it anyway because the sensei told him to. And he got a warning. Then he got kicked in the fucking face and lost the fight for it. So that was a big, like, what the fuck was that all about? And then his coach, breaks his fucking second place trophy, tries to fucking kill him, throws him out of the school. Like, and then we get to see too that he had an abusive stepdad at home. Imagine the shit that he was getting said to him when he got home from that. I can't wait to see that. We saw when he was younger, before he really started taking the karate, but we didn't get to see, his stepdad's reaction after losing his senior year in the All Valley. There's a lot more of the history stuff in the memories that we can get. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be awesome to see all of that stuff. Let's go into live chat for a second, and I think we have another call as well. It's Cobra Kai episodes 3 through 10. Each have 1.3 million views. Is that big or not? I think that's pretty big for that. Plus, that's not counting all the people that have watched it in other ways. And I'll be curious what that's like after a few months down the road. But there's still a lot of people that I want to watch the series, but I agree that you're saying a good way of doing it. Tell them to go to YouTube and check it out and let YouTube be their drug dealers. Don't go PC on season 2, says go. Mike says the only thing I didn't like was CGI using some of the fight scenes. It looked horrible. Daniel the Karate Kid was the true bully. They almost have to bring back Allie in season 2, says Peter Griffin. I think they've talked about it a lot.
See, the show's big enough that she would be foolish to turn down the
right.
What the fuck is Elizabeth Shue doing with herself nowadays anyway? A couple of guest spots here and there, like
she's gonna want to do it now.
CSI because she was with Mark Harmon and some other bullshit. Like, at some point in their career. Like, no, she's not doing shit. She's not a big star. She's not an A-lister. She'll be like, yeah, I'll do it for these 2 fucking cheeseburgers right here. Just give me them 2 cheeseburgers,
Dude.
and I'll be on your show.
Dude, what you waiting for, that Casual Sex remake?
I wanted to do webisodes for a while now.
They didn't ask me in season 1. I would have done an appearance.
Yeah, they never even called me.
They never called me. Bullshit. Or they called her agent, said, do you want to be on a YouTube Red series? She's like, no.
And shit, no way. And now this is like the hottest shit in fucking since sliced fucking pumpernickel.
YouTube Red. Do you realize I was in Cocktail with Tom Cruise? Come on. I'm not gonna be on YouTube Red. Give me a break. So no, I think we'll see. I think we'll see.
Tom Cruise's Cocktail was in her. What?
Oh wait, Paul Q. I love Elizabeth Shue. Don't get me wrong. I'm giving her a little bit
Big
of a hard
fan.
time. I'm a huge fan of Elizabeth Shue. Ventures in Babysitting. The first time I ever saw Thor was in Ventures in Babysitting.
Oh no, Thor. Yeah. Best Thor ever on screen. Thor ever.
Yeah, Thor's
Vincent D'Onofrio. Best on-screen Thor ever.
Yeah,
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Thor and Kingpin. Who knew it? That'd be amazing. I'd love to see his Kingpin versus his Thor. That's incredible. But no, I had a big Elizabeth Shue thing growing up. You think Johnny Build the Wall will? Yes, Johnny will definitely bang Miguel's mom. That's a given. I'm surprised it didn't happen in season 1.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I'm leaving.
Big time. You made my asthmatic fucking pussy boy
peanut allergy
fake medical condition son a karate champion in just a few months.
Okay, let's take this call. Area code 949. What are your thoughts on Cobra Kai? What's your question and comment? And who is this? Area code 949. Oh wait, not yet. Now you're on the air. 949.
Hey guys, my name's Tom. 949 is Southern California.
Nice.
So I just wanted to say, one little thing that I thought was really cool. And for little tiny things that not everyone who watches the show would realize is they filmed so much of this kind of where the original movie was from. Like when you'd see the Daniel's son and Johnny when they're driving around and stuff, it's really in, the city that they say they're in, which is kind of just a little detail, but I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
If they were filming it in Vancouver or whatever, that'd be pretty lame. I'm a couple minutes behind what you guys are saying earlier, but you were talking about how the show could be kind of stupid in season 2, and I had mentioned it on your prior video, Phil. The only way I could see them making this show kind of stupid is if they focus on the secondary characters, like I don't know, like Daniel's cousins or whatever that worked at his dealership. I thought they were kind of dumb. And then Johnny's ex-wife, I thought that was going to be a scene where it's kind of serious, but she's kind of like this bimbo. So I don't know. I felt like some aspects of it were just weird pacing. It was a lot more silly than the original movies. And I'm just nitpicking here.
Oh,
no. I wanted to see if you guys agreed with me on that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it
awesome
was
comment.
a lot more silly than the original movies. And I think they kind of had to do that because it's kind of hard. They've made the serious Karate Kid movie 5 times, right? 3 with Daniel Son, 1 with a chick, and 1 with Little Smith.
Yeah, Jaden Smith.
Right?
Yeah.
Whose dad is an executive producer on this show, right? Probably owns part of the rights to it because his son.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, is it the same Will Smith? And I'm like, oh yeah, it is. It is Will Smith. Yeah.
So I think they kind of had to do. Nobody wants to, even like Will Smith's kids movie, like Jaden Smith's movie, didn't like, and that had Jackie Chan in it too. Wasn't a big draw. It wasn't a big hit. It didn't have nearly the same impact that
and it was
that
all
kind
right.
of movie had on us.
It was all right. It was a pretty movie. It looked cool.
Because there's so many other karate movies out there that is so well done. Like you got like a John Wick out around the same time. Maybe.
So if you're gonna
probably much later, but
exactly. So if you're gonna do a Karate Kid,
The Matrix,
it needs to be about the characters, and neither one were compelling. I mean, Jackie Chan is, but it wasn't enough to carry that movie. But to go to the caller's point, I think I agree. I think some of the weaker parts of the season, if we want to point out those things, were some of Daniel's employees and also Johnny's wife and that kind of side story. I hope they don't get too schmaltzy with that. And I think the most important thing moving forward is if you do other stuff, the prime focus of this series has to constantly be around Daniel's son and Johnny.
Or the coach or their sensei,
right, the main characters. You can always have the other sides be big parts, Miguel, the new Cobra Kais, any new stuff that you bring in, but I agree, you can't. I think the prime focus of everything needs to be around Johnny. I think Johnny needs to be our ultimate main character.
He needs to be our ultimate main character, and that's how they set it up for this. And yeah, Machio is in it, and he is also a main character. But this is Johnny's show.
Yeah, this is Johnny's show.
And that's one of the, like, when have we ever had a movie like that, too, where we have the bad guy? Like, this isn't a movie, I know, and this is a series, but, like, what a flip that is. Like, that's one of the things that makes this really stand out for me and how good it is that they took our foil from the original movie that spawned it all, right? And they turned him into our protagonist. And
they
really
did
like that.
And there's times that they've done that on shows where you start out and you have a character that's a villain that ultimately becomes a hero character. No pun intended. One is Heroes with Sylar. There's so many characters that, for whatever reason, but they always have to deball them. Essentially, they always have to castrate them and make them less interesting. But they did. No, if anything, showing more focus on him makes him this unique character that's unlike anything I've ever seen before. With that scene when Miguel's talking him out of kicking people's ass in the board meeting, he's just so confident with the way he's playing that. No, I'm just gonna kick people's ass. A cobra doesn't do that. Like, he's so programmed, and Miguel being of this time, like our voice of the audience a little bit, like, oh, I gotta work with this guy a little bit. I love him, he's a good guy, but we gotta work with him a little bit. And there was so many points and times, and I hope they don't this isn't that I hope they don't they don't change him too much.
PC him up. Someone said it in the chat. Hope they don't PC him up.
They can't.
Keep him rough. Keep him, with his semi-racial overtones to the shit he does. Keep him flawed.
And one of my favorite points.
Girls have fragile bones. They have hollow bones. We don't take girls here. They got hollow bones.
Yeah, I love that. Or the whole thing with him and Lip was just insanely good. You just need to have that, and I think Johnny needs to.
My favorite line is, "I want to be paid in what was it? I want to be paid in meth and something else." Well, just hold the fucking sign. I'm gonna give you cash, and then you can go buy whatever you want with it. That's how money works.
But I also like how the show doesn't also say everything new is stupid. At the points in time where Johnny needs to be looked like a fool with certain modern technology things. I love the episode, it's early on, where Miguel says to him, "Are you going to advertise the business?" And he says, "Sure." And he goes out and does all this 1980s advertising, prints flyers, puts flyers everywhere, and then he gets like no customers. Miguel comes in, Miguel's like, "Well, no, I built a website." He's looking, he's like, "What?" Or when Daniel's son showing him Facebook, he's like, "Face what?" I like those sort of Austin Powers out of time moments that we get with him, and
he spent the last 25 years in a bottle.
Yep.
Cell phone. He bought a flip phone. It's lasted forever. You know what I mean?
And I know people like this. Like my old drummer for my band is like this. He doesn't know what the fucking he couldn't turn on a computer. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on with that shit. It's just
like, when you see him at home watching TV, he's watching old ass fucking 80s movies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's watching, what was the movie he was watching? With Gossett Jr. the Top Gun, like,
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Hot Shot movie, whatever it is. I forget.
So let's get into the live chat right now a little bit. You think Johnny bit the wall? Okay, Miguel taking on 6 guys in the cafeteria was a bit much. It was a bit much, but I still enjoyed the scene from a comical.
Especially because we hadn't seen him actually do any real fucking training.
Right. And that's maybe one of the things I like. they do get good very quick. Gon says, on a less than 30-minute episode, there's so much wasted time to be fair for a first season. Kirk, yes, Daniel's kids were annoying, especially the son. The son was the most annoying character in the whole thing, but he was supposed to be, and I thought the kid,
Iron Eagle, yeah.
he was horrible. I love the fat kid, so funny. He was funny in an early AJ Soprano way. He was funnily annoying. Peter Griffin, Grandma, get me another grape soda. Well, that fat kid was funny. My predictions for season 2, yeah, get me another Yoo-hoo. He was like, you go into the kitchen, get me another Yoo-hoo, get me another grape soda. Johnny Torch says, my prediction for season 2, Johnny and Daniel have an uneasy alliance against Kreese and Barnes. I tend to think that's where it's going to, and we lead up to one of the only minor criticisms I have, but it's not really a criticism. It's more of me wanting my cake and eat it too. I wanted the fight at one point. We got a couple of almost fights between Daniel and Johnny.
I was waiting, and I think that's what's going to happen.
We need it.
I think we're going to get that early on. It's going to, okay, season 2 will be like Rocky, right? We'll have the fight early on.
I love how they talked about that too.
So they can get together for,
I love how they talked about that too. How when they're walking in after that night that they became almost friends, and they're walking in, they need to fight before they can become an uneasy alliance. Because Johnny's going to say, no, we need to fight before we work together.
No, because they have issues they need to work out, and neither one of them is going to win. They're going to fight until they both fall over, or something stupid.
I would,
I would laugh my ass off if it was like they both like punch each other in the jaw to knock each other down.
Yeah, and they totally do the Rocky thing. I know it's going to be anticlimactic, but I still need to see it. And I know why they didn't do it in season 1, but there's a couple of moments where it almost happens, and my blood went up.
Jesus! It was like they when he first comes to Cobra Kai and he walks out and they both step on the edge of the mat.
Joe,
you thought it was good. And he's like, go back in the other.
He's like, I'm right here, Daniel. And then one of my favorite points of the season is right in that episode. It's right at the beginning of the whole series too. Johnny looks outside through the window at him, makes eye contact with him, and goes and smiles at him. Gives him this sick smile. It's such a fucking amazing moment, and I love how Johnny deals with him, because he's totally like, I can kick this guy's ass at any point in time. Like in a street fight, I'm gonna destroy.
Oh yeah,
Daniel's
he would. I think so too.
Especially at this point in time, through most of the movie, where Daniel hasn't really trained too much, and Johnny's definitely looks like a guy that's been in a lot of fights. He's not getting in fights at bars.
Right, and my favorite is actually the reverse of your favorite, Phil, and it happened at the end of the season.
Okay.
And it was when Johnny grabs the fucking motorcycle, and Daniel comes out with his morning fucking tea, and he sees him standing in the backyard, and he just drops the tea.
Yeah.
Like, he's all freaked out, like, what the fuck? Johnny standing all menacing in the backyard with a Harley, fuming because his car just got burned up.
Where does Daniel LaRusso live?
Where does he live?
Dude, that got so intense at the end. He's
That
screaming,
was fucking awesome,
where
man.
does Daniel LaRusso live?
And you thought it was on then too. You thought, here it is.
Dude, it got all Cape Fear for a second there. I'm glad I got to talk about this. It got all Cape Fear for a second when those guys tried to fight. It was like, Counselor, Daniel LaRusso, where are you, Counselor?
Holy fucking shit. Awesome.
Okay,
this series was fucking awesome.
It was a total ride. It's great to talk about something that's this much fun. Let's go through the chat again. Then I want to talk a little bit. No, I'll quickly talk about locations before it goes back, as the caller mentioned. It's the locations is something that's really cool. I love how we go to golf and stuff. I love how they're filming in the real locations. It gives it a genuine feel. I like how we go back to Daniel Son's apartment complex in the episode where they're hanging out, and we see Miyagi's house eventually in the episode too. And I think all of that's awesome. I also like Daniel referring to the areas where him and Miyagi trained that don't really exist anymore, so why they had to go to new locations.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Okay, so Maleficent with Karate Joe. My prediction for season 2, Johnny and Daniel have an uneasy alliance to fight off Kreese and Barnes. We said that already, but the daughter annoyed me, says Captain James T. Kirk. Sorry, I was going to try to do a Kirk voice. But the daughter annoyed me, but she got her butt whipped for a party at Daniel's house. What did Joe think? What did Joe think? You guys want to know what did Joe think? You guys want it. You guys want to hear.
What did Joe?
He loved it.
What did Joe?
He loved it. Okay, so what did Joe think? Full anti-PC. This is a good question by Hack World. What do you guys think of the philosophy of Johnny's style of fighting first, no mercy, and the way he treats his students? I think it works for some people. I think in general,
it's flawed. It's not.
It is flawed. It is flawed. But I just think in general, what's being said here is everyone reacts to a different style of teaching. Not everyone can learn in different environments. I think we see where Johnny's style is flawed when how easily Daniel-san's daughter takes down Miguel, and how what's his name? What's Johnny's kid's name? I'm blanking on it. Johnny's kid with much fewer amount of training can still compete with the Cobra Kai style, because the Miyagi style, being a very defensive style, works exceptionally well against the Cobra Kai offensive style. Miyagi style is based around, or at least the style that Miyagi taught Daniel about blocking and then countering, and Cobra Kai is very aggressive, so it's a tough matchup for Cobra Kai.
Yeah, well, he doesn't believe in blocks at all. He didn't teach any.
Yeah, no blocks. Yeah, exactly.
The best thing for offense is more offense. Isn't that what he said?
But I think more about how he treats his students and the way he yells at them and screams at them and breaks them down to build them up. I'm saying I've had a lot of teachers, I've had a lot of directors in theater shows, and some coddle you and tell everyone, let's all stand together and hold hands and love one another, and that's how they teach. And some people teach by saying, you fucking suck, get this right, fucking you did this scene horribly. Everyone's gonna boo you. Get better. And some people learn better in that environment. Some people learn better in another environment. That's what I'm saying.
See, that's one way of teaching, right? And that's the way coaches do it, right? Some kick your ass and some don't. But it's not. I don't think what he was asking about the style of teaching, rather than the style being taught, which is strike first and no mercy.
Right.
Now, strike first is not necessarily a bad thing. If you're being threatened, striking first might be your only option to be able to then get away. You know what I'm saying? But
Jay makes a good point.
No mercy. It's like no mercy means you kill the person. No mercy means you kill whoever you're fighting. So you're like, there is mercy, and you have to decide at what point you want to, be merciful. Do you just break a person's nose who's then no longer attacking you? Do you curb stomp them? Like,
At some point, there must be mercy, or you're going to kill the person. So there are very flawed things in what Cobra Kai teaches these children.
Fair. Jay says he did teach his students blocking with that tennis ball with a baseball machine. So he was teaching him blocking, which we didn't say. Let's zip through the comments again. What is a Facebook American Eagle? 3 Iron Eagle. Daniel needs to work out for season 2. Yeah, Daniel needs to get in a little bit better shape.
Put a little muscle on. Lose a little bit of belly fat there.
Yeah. Beast. I really need to see Daniel-san fight somebody in season 2, even if it isn't Johnny. I agree too. We saw Johnny fight a lot. We need to see Machio fight too. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I was just craving. All we really got to see Daniel-san do was that kick of the coffee cup. Yeah, kick. Or what the fuck's that thing called? Yeah, the Buddha.
Orba tea.
Yeah, the boca.
What kind of tea is that, Katie?
Boba.
Yeah, give me the boba. Fuck you, boba.
I don't really like the boba.
Yeah, fuck the boba.
I want to get caught in my straw, my throat, my nostrils.
Captain James T. Kirk says, Johnny versus Chosen. I would say, I always imagined that Chosen was a tougher fighter. But, I mean, ultimately, Chosen is the enemy that he fights in the death match in season 2, Sato's kid.
Oh, right.
Sato's trainer. I mean, ultimately, I think Daniel-san...
With the drum?
With the drum, but... Sato and Miyagi.
The telegraph drum move. Telegraph kick move.
Let me geek this out a little bit. I always was more intimidated as a kid with Chosen, but I think ultimately Johnny probably would win because Johnny fought. It depends what kind of fight. Because we're to believe that Daniel and Chosen know similar kind of karate because Miyagi and Sato were taught by the same master. And when when Chosen and Daniel-san fought in a fight to the death, Daniel-san defeated him. So he's better in that style of fighting. So he's a little worse than Daniel-san, and Johnny lost to Daniel-san by 1 point. So
no.
So therefore, I think he could probably beat Chosen in a tournament match.
Johnny, the All Valley was given. None of the judges liked.
It was a cheat kick. I love how we got into that too.
The judges did not like Cobra Kai, and notice how the cheap kick, right? But yet still Cobra Kai got this banned for life
because of what Barnes did the next year in the Bad Boy incident and what Terry Silver and Barnes did to Daniel-san. It's not about Johnny, which is why Johnny got reinstated there because everything what happened to Cobra Kai getting banned was Karate Kid 3 stuff and John Kreese after the tournament, after the fact. But good question. Johnny and Daniel-san bonded over. I read that John has boned, but bonded over a beer where they reminisced about being dick cousins with Allie. Yes. That's the best way. I want to read that right again. Johnny and Daniel-san bonded over a beer and reminisced about being dick cousins. Johnny versus Mike Barnes. I would say I always thought Mike Barnes was tougher because he was a karate master. A lot of people think that it gets grouped in that Mike Barnes was a Cobra Kai. He did get trained in the Cobra Kai ways, but after the fact, he was hired by Terry Silver and to come in and looking through a book of karate masters. So I think he was supposed to. It wasn't necessarily clear in the movie, but I think essentially Mike Barnes was a master of a lot of different styles of martial arts. So he was above. So he was basically at sensei level essentially, and then adopted the Cobra Kai name to take 25% and then eventually 50% of the Cobra Kai profits for defeating Daniel-san in the tournament. So I think he's probably much better than most people. Miyagi did defeat him, but I think he probably would. Him and Johnny would be a good fight, but I think Mike Barnes in his prime would probably be able to take Johnny. But that's just my opinion there. And let's continue. What's up, Jay? Fun fact, the actor who plays Daniel-san is older than the actor that played Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, Daniel-san is 85 years old right now. Johnny's style works for Miguel, and Daniel's style works for Johnny's son. Balance. In season 2, I want Daniel to beat Terry Silver and Mike Barnes. He was such a coward in Karate Kid 2. Yeah, he was. Daniel-san sucked in Karate Kid 2. I want to see him and Johnny kick both those dudes' ass, and I do hope they bring Terry Silver back. Johnny taught his students to block. Cobra Kai is a Navy SEAL combat training. T-Kick. Yeah, it was the T-Kick. Cobra Kai is a badass name for a dojo. It totally is. Chosen was a killer. Chosen was scary. I was scared of Chosen when I was a kid. I don't want to see Daniel-san fight. The whole point of Miyagi's teaching was only to use karate in defense, not offense, says Jay. Alien Bond says season 2 is going to have Iron Eagle's storyline added to it to a twist of the Goonies. It's American martial arts versus Japanese martial arts. Where's Jaden Smith? He needs to show up, says the Triggerman. Joe, I love the sword you have on the wall. Where'd you buy that? And
internet.
Daniel,
it's Long Claw.
Yes, it is. Oh yeah, it is Long Claw. And Daniel is the Karate Kid, and he will win for sure, says Kai, no matter what. Mike says went to jail for robbing people. Kai says Karate Kid, sorry. The crane wasn't illegal. Johnny used it. Doesn't disqualify or lose a point when he did. He should have lost a point. In season 2, Daniel will come out as transgender. I really got to watch the movies again. Barnes versus Chosen versus Johnny. Who wins? An all-out battle royal like that. I probably got to go with Chosen in that situation because he's more of a street type fighter from what we've seen and has fought in death matches before. Okay, so just to kind of start to wrap things up here, Joe, because we could just keep talking about amazing things about this series, and I mean just different highlight moments. There wasn't really, and I'm trying to think if there's anything I didn't like about it, and it's not. It's the only thing that I didn't like about it was I wanted more when it was done.
When it was over, yeah. I guess the only complaint I would go with was some of the peripherals, like Patrick the cousin. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck was he thinking? Like he's making deals for a business that he has no business making deals for, that they've already told him not to do. And then he brings these bikers over to some random dude's house that he's never fucking met before,
he
and knows nothing about, and fucking torches his car, beats the shit out of his car, and then torches it.
He has Tiggs and Chib beat the shit out of his car, and
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? I agree that it just kind of came out of a nowhere situation to force the combat, and he was kind of a dumbass character.
It really did come out of left field.
And the way
that was the only thing that I was like, why would he be there all of a sudden? How does he even know where the fuck this dude lives?
And let's
service report, maybe, I guess.
Couple more questions in the live chat here. I have played the Karate Kid for the Nintendo. I beat it back in the day. It's a hard game, but I have definitely played it before. Mike says I'm undefeated in the Kumite. Bloodsport, baby. Felicia says I'm 24. I've never seen the Karate Kid. That's a question I want to pause on for a second, Joe. Do you think you need to see the Karate Kid to enjoy this series, or can you enjoy it?
No, because they have enough of the flashbacks, and that's going to be one of the cool things too. Because how often do you get like flashbacks where they're the actual actors 30 fucking years ago?
And some of the flashbacks and some of the things that they've gotten in certain situations, I heard them talking about this. They got some behind the scenes footage and extra footage, especially around the beginning with the tournament, so that they could show some extra stuff because the filmmakers are in on this. And it's interesting that everyone's in on this and everyone's cool with it. And the fact that Ralph Macchio and Johnny and William Zabka are out there promoting this together. And if people want to know the creators of this are the same people that did Hot Tub Time Machine and also did the Harold and Kumar movies. And especially with the Harold and Kumar thing, not that it's repeating a lot of jokes, and this is the only time where it repeats a joke. I had sort of an aha moment on my second watch after knowing that, where Johnny and Daniel-san are in the car together, and they start singing to the radio, to the song that comes on the radio, and they both start singing it out loud. Was similar to something that happened in the Harold and Kumar movie, but other than that, hearing the guys talk about it and talking about the creation, they specifically said they wanted to do something like they hadn't essentially done before, and that they loved the series and they wanted to really pay attention and give it some balls, give it some edge, and they really put importance to it in all their discussions about it. And I think that came through. There's just something really good about it all, and that balls, that edge, and the heart mixed together, I think is what's making it at least right now, the show of the year for a lot of people, because it encompasses all that. It's funny, and it also got me a little misty-eyed at a couple point of times. Probably a little bit more than misty-eyed during that Miyagi part the first time I watched it. I was like, done. I was just having a bad day, and then that part comes out where Daniel-san finally, he's not an asshole. He's like, yeah, my anger fucks shit up, and I miss you, and balance, and you hear the balance stuff, and suddenly the I don't have it here because I can't play it, but suddenly the Mr. Miyagi music kicks in, and it's like really sad, and you're like, oh no. And it gets really emotional. The new characters are interesting enough to make you care about them, and they're funny and have a good self-referential humor to it all. It hits on all cylinders, and it's one of those in the moment episodes. It came out in the right time at the right moment where people were ready for it. And there's a lot of shows that have brought back 80s stuff in the last couple of years, for good or for bad, depending on your interest in the shows, both on Netflix, the ones I'm talking about, or even on Channel 5 where you have the Goldbergs. You also have Stranger Things, and then you have the best of them, I think, Glow, which I think is the closest thing to what you get in this series. But the difference between this and Glow is with Glow, it's made-up characters. They're not using the real characters from Glow because they're not even though they were cool to the people that watched it, they're not interesting enough, so they're making new characters, but it still has that balls of the 80s, and it's set in the 80s, and not pretending to sugarcoat stuff for modern times. It's just, at least in season 1. And I think the successes of those shows primed perfect for this show to be better than them all, and come in and just kick ass where people are warm for for 80s nostalgia because it's not so nostalgic. It actually is new and repeats the themes of the original movie while still making it new and different and awesome. So yeah.
And the nostalgia is in the form of flashback memories. So like when your characters are going through them, you end up also remembering how you felt
Yeah, dude.
as a kid watching those scenes. It's really a quite I can't get over it. It's a great phenomenon. I really like that they were able to do that and get those clips and throw them in there because like I said, you don't have anything like that where it's 30 years later and you're watching, Rocky, I guess, would be like the closest thing.
But you couldn't
now,
even do
right?
it with Rocky because watching Rocky when you were young, he was older. The Karate Kid was an interesting thing because
He
when
was
it came,
our age,
because when it came
and
out
now
for
we're still that age.
right, exactly. So we followed them all the way through. So looking at
Right.
it now, you can start thinking about your own rivalries, your own situations, what it would be like if you were in these situations, and these scenarios. It's crazy like that. What'd you guys think about the ending when the old evil master showed up? At first, my first time watching it, I was like, whoa, this is getting a little weird. But I guess we never know for sure that John Kreese died. We only hear it from Johnny's thing. And where I got confused is in Karate Kid 3, they play that same game where they pretend John Kreese is dead, or they
See,
make.
I thought the actor died.
No. He's very much alive as we saw.
Apparently.
As we saw. I want to see Johnny's kid date Daniel-san's daughter in season 2, says Jay. We got Sir LT, guys. Great to see Sir LT in the live chat. The show really delivered. That's a hallucination. Johnny celebrated with some angel dust. They should really back off the car dealership in season 2, but everything else was pretty cool. Good. I agree with that. I think the wife was the best part of the dealership, but I think it's the wife's interaction with Daniel-san as he's doing crazy things. So if you have Daniel-san do more crazy things and have her sort of react to him in a Cheryl, Larry David kind of way, I think they could have an interesting dynamic because I think the actress that plays the wife was very funny and she fit into the situation really well, even though we don't know her character, being someone that's grown up in this world. Oh, karate was everything in the All Valley tournament, and her ragging on Daniel and her just interaction, like when Johnny shows up at the house, even though she stopped them from fighting, the way she handles that situation's very funny. And I think, and she never annoyed me, and I think she was a good conduit to reality.
She wasn't a douche. She
wasn't.
wasn't like
She
this
was funny.
princess.
No, she was hilarious.
She worked at the business.
Yeah.
She was a mom.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the character.
Yeah,
they didn't make any of them overtly dicks or overtly goody.
I love how she acted with the mother-in-law when she's like, no, butt out. No, that's not what she meant. No, that's exactly what I meant. Butt the fuck out of my business. But then they end up being great friends and stuff. I want to see Daniel's Fat Son prequel. We could watch him play video games and bitch. Jay says, it would be better if you watch the Karate Kid trilogy before you watch the show. It would be better, but I do think you could watch this series without watching that. It's saying that if you're someone that has not watched the Karate Kid series, should you go back and watch the first 3 movies first? It wouldn't hurt, but you could do it the other way around too. You could watch this series and then go watch the movies if it interests you enough, I think. But for the most part, I tend to agree with what you're saying. Santovia says, I have to rewatch the movie to hear the rules, but in real life, the crane kick is not legal in a tournament. It's simply a jumping front snap kick in the face, and it's perfectly legal. Game over. Celtics won. Spoiler alert.
See, it's not legal in a youth tournament. You're not allowed to punch in the face.
Kick in the face.
That's part of the rules.
Felicia
Punch
says,
or kick to the face.
Felicia says, game over. Spoiler alert for the Celtics-Cavs game. If you don't want to hear a score or if this is way in the future, who gives a shit? Celtics won 107-94. Go Celtics. Time to win one in Cleveland. John Miller says, got goosebumps when Miguel cruised into the high school dance with the skeleton costume. Me too. That was an awesome bring back.
Perfect.
So
Daniel
perfect.
got goosebumps too. Like he had to do a double take. He went right after him.
Yeah, that's what Peter Griffin said. But Daniel got goosebumps too. He's like, "What the fuck? That's flashback." I almost at first I thought they were going that Miguel's parents was going to make him the shower, but I like the direction they went. I also love when when him and Johnny both have the good days and they celebrate. Who's the man? Are you the man? Oh, we're both the man.
Yeah. Oh no, you're the man.
I'm the man. Miyagi didn't like Daniel or Johnny. Miyagi's origin story. I would not mind seeing something like that in the future if it was done right. Seeing a Sato or hearing somehow more about that. I don't know if how maybe Chosen showing up might elicit that, but I wouldn't mind knowing more about Miyagi's storyline and in him and Sato training at some point in time in the future, even if it's in like a comic book way or something like that, some sort of spin-off comic or animated series with good animation, not like the Karate Kid.
Actually identical to Yoda's.
The Trigger Man. What old school fighting movie would have the best new series? Bloodsport, Big Trouble in Little China, Best of the Best. Joe, you're more of an expert.
Big Trouble in Little China doesn't belong. What is the question?
What old school fighting movie should have a new series?
That's not really a fighting movie, Big Trouble in Little China, as much as it's like a. That's not a fighting movie.
Okay, so just what old school fighting movie should have a new series? Think about that for a second as I'll read a few more comments. I've been wondering.
Oh, easy. Lionheart with Jean-Claude Van Damme, only because how big MMA is right now.
So Sir LT says, I've been wondering where the
underground bare knuckle fighting in the streets. Come on.
I wouldn't mind. I'd like to see Bloodsport, or I'd like to see some sort of continuation to the Bloodsport storyline. See more Kumite. So LT said
only if they can get Ogre.
Yeah, they need to get Ogre. I agree. LT Guile says, I've been wondering where the actor that plays Johnny Lawrence. He did such a good job. I love him too. I love when he showed up in How I Met Your Mother, but he's always been in bit parts since then, except for other roles around that time, like in Just One of the Guys and Back to School. And I think there might be one other one he's in where he's plays a dick as well, but that I might be missing. But
typecast.
Top Gun in space. Zapka was the Rodney Dangerfield vehicle Back to the School, the Equalizer in the 80s. Will Terry Silver return? I sure hope Terry Silver returns. He would be hilarious. Give me the Miyagi origin story, says Captain Kirk. Give me the Miyagi origin story. Do you think Daniel's wife has an affair with Johnny's kid? Do you? I could see it happening. Anything could happen. Awesome performance by William Zapka. Why would you marry Daniel? He's so annoying, says Santovia. I went to the mini market to get a carton of milk. The most funny is when Johnny showed up at Daniel's house with Harley. With the Harley, we all wanted them to fight, but they ended up getting breakfast, which led to them hanging out, which was a very cool time, and talking about Daniel-san's obsession with, or their mutual obsession with Elizabeth Shue's character. Robbie hooking up with Sam would be the ultimate twist. Imagine Daniel-san and Johnny as in-laws. D says, how much is each episode? I'm afraid to mention the show to my boyfriend. He's going to make me watch it. Felicia, mention it. Watch it. How much is each episode, meaning how long is it, or how much does it cost? You can watch this for free. There is a way. You watch the first 2 episodes for free on YouTube, then you sign up for the free month, and then you cancel right after you binge watch the series. Costs you nothing. It's a little bit involved, but you can do it. We got 2 calls waiting, and then we're going to call it a show. So let's take our first call from area code, I think it is J. Let's take it from, get over there, mouse. Area code 202. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, what's up? A couple things that I thought of. All right, this rivalry between Johnny and Daniel is kind of ridiculous. It's over a girl that neither of them are dating anymore, or that neither of them know at this point. Okay, Daniel had to tell him Daniel had to tell Johnny what Allie is up to nowadays, and plus, Elizabeth Shue was like the only actor from those movies that actually went on to be successful and other stuff. So I'm pretty sure she's not gonna come back. And they should have a female tournament. I don't like seeing the guys fight the girls or whatever. I don't want to see next year Daniel-san's daughter makes it to the finals and now is fighting against Miguel or something.
Okay, good calls, Jay. Do you have any response? Well, let's take the other call since we're back up against some time here. So, area code 215. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Paul Q.
Hey, Paul, what's going on?
so much. I was gonna say a couple years ago, that dude Johnny went on Howard Stern,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that this movie like ruined his life because everybody just typecast him and hated him and thought he was a dick. But meanwhile, he was like studying to be a minister. He was like going to feed poor kids and shit, and everybody still hated him. He was basically like the kid from Game of Thrones, the Gleason kid. Like,
Joffrey.
people would yell at him. Yeah, but he was really like the nicest fucking kid in the world. So I think it's funny that he's back in acting. It's good.
Yeah, it is. It is good. And he might have been shitty too.
Yeah, people used to
other
come up
thing-
and
Oh shit! Call back in, Paulie. I got disconnected there for a second. But Joe, what were you gonna say?
people used to walk up to him and start fights with him. Actually, like swing at him and hit and try to actually fight him, like assault him in the street.
That's fucking crazy. My favorite was the REO Speedwagon scene. You like Speedwagon? Any guy does. Yeah, they go back and forth. But yeah, sorry, Paul. If you want to call back in, we got disconnected there. But yeah, I think it was really cool to be able to see that. And sometimes when actors take long breaks like that and they come back, it's good to see that he's still funny and he's still good, or he's even better than he was before, because it allows him to break down that stereotype. And it must be, I get mixed feelings about that. Would you like to be hated that much, as be that kind of a hated character? Like, some part of me would find enjoyment at it at first, but then when people like try to fight you in the street, that's when it gets weird. You just that
That's
one.
when it definitely gets weird.
That's when it gets weird.
Especially nowadays, man. People got weapons. Somebody shoot you.
Yeah.
Somebody will be like, "Fuck yo! How dare you kick Danny in the face? Like, how dare you headbutt Danny's foot?" Right?
He's the best around. Don't do that to Danny. Let's take a couple more chats and then we'll call this. Sir LT says Terry Silver's my absolute favorite in the Karate Kid by the 3 rules of Quicksilver. 1, if a man can't stand. 2, if a man can't fight. If he can't breathe. 3, a man can't see. Yeah, I love that. Johnny got into that a little bit, but not as much as like not as far as Terry went. He did get into it a little bit with what he was teaching Miguel. So yeah, let's get Paul back on so he can get one more point in, and then I will let Joe go. Sorry about that. Got disconnected.
How bad did you want to see like the other Cobra Kai dudes? Like, I totally wanted. I'm not even on.
Oh no, you're on.
I totally wanted to see the get him a body bag, dude. To be like a Hodor, and he's just like sitting on a stoop somewhere. That's all he could say.
I like how we at least got.
I wanted to see what the other dudes were doing.
Yeah.
From Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I care less about those other kids.
I like how they got mentioned. I like how Dutch got mentioned, and I like how get him in a body bag got mentioned, that he might have.
Yeah, I think part of the reason we didn't see any more of them and just heard from them is because by that last episode, you have Hawk on the side, very much so, acting as that other kid did.
Yeah, as right. Like Dutch.
Even right down to like the way he's screaming and, you know, the extra hit at the end. It was very mirrored to the All Valley fight in 1984 or 6 or whenever it was. It was done really well, like the way the whole comes. And tell me it wasn't fucking awesome when he had Miguel Crane kick him in the face.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the fight. Yeah, to start the whole thing.
The only thing that would have made that better is if he got a warning instead of a point.
I know. I love how he had to do the crane kick right there, and he turned to Daniel and just smiled at him. But I gotta admit, Joe, I do care a little bit about where the other Cobra Kai guys are, especially just to kind of see them and make reference of them if they're still loyal to Kreese or something. And I think you may get more of the Cobra Kai stuff in season 2. And I think that could be interesting if they're all brainwashed or all in a cult or of kinds.
I really think we didn't go there specifically because of the way they were going to have the kids acting and how they were going to be behaving in that final episode there. So
okay, so let's play Jay's last message and then start to wrap things up. If you want to get your last-minute comments in the chat right now, we'll take some final questions after this, but let's listen to Jay's message.
Oh, yeah, and the other reason is, I mean, this rivalry is basically a high school rivalry at this point. Like, seriously, this would be like if, like, you or Joe went to your, I'm guessing you guys are around my age, so, what, your 20th or 25th high school reunion, and you saw that kid that, like, you got into a fight with, like, in freshman year, and then you see him and you're like, round 2, motherfucker! I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous at this point.
It is, but that's what makes it so awesome, because you can't really do that in real life, but you can live through these fictitious characters with it. That's part of the enjoyment factor of it. But there is some element of that where
yeah, I mean, you still like
we
here's
still
the
have
thing, like,
I
that
still have
dude
some rivalries. Yep.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. The dude you got into a fight with?
Yeah, and freshman, I don't want to. I may not want to fight him now, but I'd be like, Johnny, I'm not going to be his friend. I'm not going to walk up to him like Danny and like be like, let me fix your car for you. I beat your ass 25 years ago. So here's a free $5,000 in repairs.
But
like, no, man, you were a dick 25 years ago. Now get the fuck out of my shop. I'll have your car towed for free to your goddamn fucking driveway, you prick.
But it manifests itself in different ways, because if you had, say, a basketball rivalry or a poker rivalry or a video game rivalry in Smash Brothers or something, those things can continue a lifetime in a jokey way with your friends that you like. But I get what Jay's point is, and what your point. You're not gonna fight. You're not gonna like get into fist fights with your high school bully at this point in time, unless. I don't know. It's not gonna happen. And again, that's why
unless he decides to start acting like the high school bully again.
Or I guess it's just that's kind of why I like watching it, because it's not reality. It's these characters that you love.
It's just fucking awesome is why you like watching it.
It
dude.
is just fucking awesome. So let's take a couple more comments from the chat. Johnny, I don't want them to bring too many original cast members back. Take screen time away from the new characters impedes their development.
Yep.
Johnny Utah, right in Point Break, right here. Tim says, seems like Dent said, you die a hero. Oh, you live enough to see yourself fall. Santovia says, I never thought Daniel was the hero. He didn't know how to stay in his lane. That's why he got his ass kicked. But Johnny could have kicked his ass all by himself. That's why he was a bully. Yeah, because they were Miyagi said it. Yeah, 1-on-1, not a problem. I wouldn't have interfered, but it's like 5-on-1. We got a problem. The Walking David is coming in right at the end to say hi to you guys. Tim says, John Kreese and Terry Silver, origin story in Vietnam. Hey, David, I don't know what Iron Throne says. Hashtag beat the Cavs. Hashtag, I don't know about that. We don't want to get carried away. The series doesn't start till you win one on the opponent's floor. So all the Celtics did is what they had to do in 2 games. They won those first 2 games because they had to win those first 2 games, the 2 home games. Now
none
they
of it matters coming up. None of it matters. We still got to win.
You got to win one on the road. Okay, so unless it goes 7, I guess you don't have to, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Technically, you don't have to. You can fucking have it go 7 if you want.
You got to win the next game.
Yep.
It's all about the next game, not about the last.
Yeah. This is the big one. Game 3 is the game where the series is over, and then you can go lose in the finals to one of those Western teams. But I consider it a championship win if they get there with this fucking team. So here we go. Forget. we got Jay laughing at us right there.
Yeah, and also when John in the first at the end of the tournament, Johnny hands Daniel the trophy, right, and it's like, you're all right, LaRusso. For Johnny to now be complaining that he won on an illegal clip, doesn't that kind of retcon the end of Karate Kid 1?
Bam. No, I mean, in the moment, you can say one thing in the moment and say the right thing and show good sports.
Because he's a little bit more mad at his sensei at the moment. But then afterwards, you know, he's gonna get his ass kicked.
And you see this guy on television talking about it. He's just overdoing it over and over again. He's
all
like
the time.
all
we
the
kicked
time.
The competition.
We kick the competition.
And your life sucks, and he's now a fucking millionaire.
And his daughter crashes into your car, and then he's fixing your car for free, which is a pretty cool move. But whatever. You draw a dick on his. We forgot to mention that he draws a dick on his face. I love that. Plus, Johnny is a fuck up. He's a 50-year-old alcoholic that's fucking that's at a.
I know the one scene
that's
right
living
up
in his
our
past.
alley, Phil, and we forget to mention it in the whole podcast.
The giant dick in the mouth. Yeah, of course. Big Kev finally caught a live feed, and the cock on Daniel's face was funny. It's still better than The Walking Dead's last season. Let's spin the wheel for
Big Kev.
Joe's gonna take a drink. Let's see where it lands on. It says, dun, 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 dun. Joe, drink. I need a CGI tiger. Well, Westworld has CGI tigers, and it definitely looks better than The Walking Dead. James took the shoulder to the face. Johnny had a severe concussion. Yeah, Johnny had a severe concussion at the time. Thank you, Big Kev. That really fucking helps. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for this What Did Joe Think? And it's really awesome. Usually we do these What Did Joe Think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Fun fact, Johnny is 52 in real life. Danielson's 56. Fun facts.
Wow, I didn't realize they were that much older than me.
I know, you think they're almost
older than me? Wow.
That means they were like 20-something when that fucking movie came out.
Daniel was like 83 when that movie came out.
Right?
And I will not be on this week for Westworld. I'm going away for 2 weeks on Friday. I will be doing a lot of quick streams from my phone and maybe a couple of other podcasts, so I will not be getting to talk about Westworld this week. A couple people have requested that Joe does the recap this week. I just wanted to ask you.
I would do it. I am caught up. Haven't seen last week's episode, right? So I can watch that and I can watch Sundays, and I could do it, but I can't. I can't do it alone.
And you don't.
It would be fucking awful. It would be awful. I'm not going to take notes. I wouldn't know half the characters' names, so I'd be like, and then that one there, yeah, the chick there, the robot chick, she fucked that dude because I don't know that other dude, that robot dude with Ed dude there. Like, it'd be horrible. You need someone who knows the characters. I can talk about shit, but I can't take notes.
Okay. So people wanted me to ask you, so we did it. I asked him. I didn't think it was gonna get.
And I wouldn't know how to start the stream. I'd have to log into the page to do shit Yeah.
But no, I'll be on the road for 2 weeks, but I will be touching in.
I press answer and then I talk. That's it. I literally have to click one button when Phil does this. That's the extent of my tech.
I've learned to give Joe as little to do as possible. Gets him coming back.
I went to Guitar Center, had Phil buy all my fucking.
Joe doesn't want to do a podcast without
all my audio shit, my computer.
I almost want to see the morbid curiosity of Joe doing a stream alone, but I don't think anyone else. I don't think Joe really wants to do that. But no, I will be back in a couple of weeks, but I will be doing some from my phone streams and walking around and from weird locations, maybe around. And I'll probably be doing one more maybe on Thursday before I leave, just to kind of update the bullshit. But I hope you guys enjoyed this stream about Cobra Kai. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this stream, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with a friend. Share your comments about what you thought of this season of Cobra Kai, what you want in season 2. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Joe, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Thank you.
No. Thank you, motherfucker.
No. Thank the motherfucking chat.
Motherfucking chat. Woo. If I have to watch this show, it's gonna be your fault. You better.
You should watch it, Felicia. You don't have to. You want to.
Scotty.
I gotta go make a sandwich.
Eat that sandwich, Joe. Wait. Do you have the screen on? So there you go. There you go, Joe. There. So we got the point.